This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, tragedy in central Dunedin after a fatal car accident prompts a warning from police. We find out how a sport development program is prompting life skills with local teens. And what do residents think of proposed changes to the way city councillors are elected? Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Holly Buchanan. Police are issuing safety warnings following a fatal car crash in the central city this morning. An 18-year-old woman died just after the incident in which a car with 6 occupants collided with a ute. And as investigations continue, police say the tragedy serves as a timely reminder.
Assessing the carnage of this morning's fatal collision. Police remain at the scene of the crash between a car with 6 occupants and a ute. The driver and sole occupant of the ute is uninjured, but an 18-year-old female passenger from the car has died and several others are injured.
Just after 2 o'clock this morning, we had a 2-car crash at the intersection of Hope and Stafford Street. Unfortunately, one occupant of the vehicle, one of the vehicles has died on her way to hospital.
Initial inquiries indicate the driver of the car failed to stop at the Hope Street give way sign, colliding with the ute on the corner of Stafford Street. The driver's been breath tested, and at this stage police won't confirm whether alcohol was a factor in the crash. Officers are still gathering information about occupants, including their ages.
So we're still just going through the early stages, carrying out a scene examination. There are a lot of people and witnesses to speak to, so early stages.
Crash survivors are being interviewed by police away from the scene, but a number of people remain at the cordon as investigators gather witness testimony.
Because of the location, there are a lot of people, residents nearby, so there would have been a lot of people that heard the noise of the crash, and potentially they've come to have a look and speak with our staff there. But no, the people that were involved have been spoken to either at the hospital or at the police station.
Aitken can't speculate about what's happened and says things should become clearer in the next couple of days. For now, she says the tragedy is a reminder to all motorists that driving involves extreme risk.
Every time you get into a vehicle, you're placing yourself at risk. So, this is really tragic. We never, any death on our road is one death too many. So, and our thoughts are with the family and of the victim and the people that have been involved in this crash. Police
say it's too early to comment on whether criminal charges will be laid, and that'll ultimately be determined by what their investigation reveals. Ruby McAndrew, 39 Dunedin News.
A controversial consent application to expand a local quarry is drawing public opposition. The operator of the Portobello Quarry wants to replace and extend their existing consent granted in 2007. But of the 40 submissions received, 32 are in opposition. Residents are worried about the environmental impact of quarrying as well as associated noise. And City Council staff say the applicant has failed to comply with existing conditions of consent. However, planners recommend consent be granted for a smaller quarrying operation, subject to conditions. A 2-day hearing for the application is set to begin in the morning. A unique rowing machine is boosting efforts to help local teens deliver life skills. It's being used for an ongoing sports development program, and the workouts are benefiting more than just health.
Developing life skills while developing muscles. Disabled Dunedin high schoolers get a workout during this week's session of the Otago Secondary School's adaptive sport program. Organisers get these teens to try out as many sports as possible throughout the year, with rowing the latest.
What I try and do is organise something for each term, and it can be anywhere between 4 and 6 weeks for the duration of the session. So I really want to give the students a bit of time to develop their skills, because over a period of time it's easy to forget things if you're only doing a couple of weeks. So we want to really make it at least a month sessions.
O'Hagan says this facility's rowing pool is giving the workouts a unique boost. It's the only one of its kind in the South Island, so it's getting put through its paces while users develop their athletic and social ability.
They get to develop relationships and social skills with other people. They meet people in similar situation, so they enjoy coming along to see their friends that they've made friends with during the time that they've been here. And they may well come over a period of 7 or 8 years, so they get to know a lot of faces, which is good.
O'Hagan's pleased to see an increasing number of faces attending. Numbers were modest when the program began 10 years ago, but it's grown noticeably since then, more than doubling to the current crop of about 50 pupils.
It also helps the people that normally do sporting activities or teaching, those sort of things, gives them opportunity to work with these young people with disability, and it gives them that mutual understanding about what their needs are and how good they are as well. They have their own abilities, so it really is a mutual development and a respect.
While it can take time for the skills learned here to sink in, O'Hagan says they do, and that has a life-changing effect, while fostering a love of sport. David DeLorean, 39 Dunedin News.
A 19-year-old Dunedin man has handed himself into police in relation to a hit-and-run incident on George Street. The teenager is charged with assault, reckless driving and failing to stop. He allegedly hit a 17-year-old male with a car, dragging the victim along the road. The victim needed surgery on his leg as a result. Police say the incident occurred about 2:30 a.m. on Sunday after an altercation between two groups of people. Meanwhile, police are still searching for a man who allegedly ran over a 5-year-old boy in Mosgiel, breaking the child's ankle. Almost 200 submissions are being considered by the City Council on proposed changes to the election of members. Most residents want to see the ward system scrapped and the number of community boards retained. But ultimately, the decision could rest with those outside the province.
The City Council's in for a shake-up, with proposed changes to the way councillors and community board members are elected. Sandy Graham's the council's group manager of corporate services and has had a quick look at the 170 submissions lodged. And she says residents are keen for the ward system to go.
So far, our quick analysis of the submissions shows that the majority are in favour of electing the council at large and retaining the number of councillors at 14.
The proposal also includes a reduction in the number of community board members from 36 down to 20, and Graham says that suggestion's not so popular.
Of the 170 submissions we've had so far, the majority have come from community board areas, and they generally are in favour, are not in favour of the changes. They would like to retain the number of community board members and retain the number of community boards.
There are national standards for local government representation that must be adhered to, and the process going forward includes a public hearing as well as full council consideration.
50 people have indicated they'd like to be heard, so we've set up hearings for the 12th and 13th of August.
Once a decision's been made by the council in September, that will be subject to objection or appeal, and in that case the Local Government Commission will become involved.
And the Local Government Commission is the one who will hear either appeals or objections, and so they will then look at whether they come down, and I suspect that they will.
It's mandatory for councils to undergo representation reviews, and this one's timed so that if changes are made, either by the council or the commission, they'll be in place for next October's local elections. Rosie Mannins, 39 Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, we meet the winner of Dunedin's Top Tourism Personality Award, and we hear about a new council scheme to keep more skilled graduates in Dunedin.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Big Orange, for all your movies, records, books and games, pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
Discover New Zealand's most innovative museum, Toitu Otago Settlers Museum. 14 stunning galleries, 3 distinct architectural styles, and 1 million intriguing stories are yours to discover at Toitu Otago Settlers Museum. Open daily next to Dunedin Railway Station and with free admission. Toitu Otago Settlers Museum.
For 30 years, Southern Clams have harvested New Zealand littleneck clams in the coastal waters of Otago. Hand harvesting to order at the right place and time ensures perfection of every clam you eat. New Zealand littleneck clams, harvested for you by Southern Clams.
Wake up time and another frantic day ahead for Haraway's Oat Singles. With 3 delicious flavours in each pack, they don't last long with this family. They're so convenient and tasty, and they're ready in seconds. Haraway's Oat Singles are the ideal breakfast or snack on the run for today's busy families. And there's a flavour to suit everyone. Beat the rush and make sure you get your favourite flavour. Haraway's Oat Singles. Try new Kiwi Favourites Caramel Variety Pack.
Hedges are something we almost take for granted. A good hedge needs regular maintenance to look its best and to add value and character to your property. For all your hedge care needs, call the team at SGC Services on 0800 783 453.
I understand now how economics can affect global warming.
And I found out how grass growth in New Zealand affects Fashion Week in Milan.
I can even tell you how smartphone technology affects the survival of mountain gorillas.
Sorry.
Because at the Otago Business School, it's not just about the world of business, it's how business affects the world.
I'm Kim. Michaela.
David. And this is our place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Welcome back. Otago residents could have saved more than $17 million in electricity bills last year. That's according to new data from the Electricity Authority. It shows the average Otago consumer could have saved almost $200 by switching to a cheaper energy retailer. In the last 5 years, more than half of all Otago households have switched power companies. Nationally, the electricity market is at its most competitive, with more businesses involved than ever before. 3 new retailers set up in Otago last year and more have come on board since then. And on that note, let's take a look at today's financials. The NZX 50 is up 22 points and is now at 5,871. The Dow Jones is up 190 points. And to the exchange rates, the Kiwi dollar is up against all the currencies we follow. The city's top tourism personality award has just gone to Steve McNulty of Classic Jaguar Limousines. He owns and operates the business with his wife, and he joins us now to talk about the local tourism industry. Good evening.
Good evening.
So tell us about the award you've just received.
The Michelle McCormick Award is in memory of probably one of the most enthusiastic tourism personalities that the city has ever seen. And I knew Michelle quite well in the early years in her job at the New Zealand Marine Studies Centre and promotions of Dunedin at various trade shows in the late 1990s, early 2000s.
Great. So what does this recognition mean to you?
Oh, it's very special indeed. It's just nice to be recognised by the industry group, Dunedin Host, and yeah, I was very pleased to accept it.
Great. And how's the local tourism sector doing at the moment?
It's in pretty good health. I mean, the growth in the cruise market is a positive sign for the city, and I think we're going to see some pretty exciting times ahead.
Mm-hmm. And what's the biggest challenge for operators?
I think the biggest challenge is coping with the growth and keeping the quality standards there, and I think we will achieve that in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, so how can that be overcome?
I think the networking of existing operators, we're very good at that in Dunedin, and it's always a challenge, but I think in the past we've proven that as it's grown we've been able to cope really well.
Yeah. So tell us, what makes a good tourism personality?
I guess a good tourism personality is somebody that likes meeting people, because we do that a lot. Having the ability to engage with them, being very proud of what you do, and showing that and making people feel like they've really sort of had a very, very good experience and meeting you and going away very satisfied.
Yeah, great. So do you foresee any changes locally?
I see a little bit more consolidation. I think we've had a little bit over the last 2-3 seasons. There's probably going to be a little bit more, but I think we'll end up with a stronger industry and cope with the growth and offer a better visitor experience as time goes forward.
Great. And is Dunedin becoming a more popular tourism destination, do you think?
Oh, most definitely. I think the growth in the cruise sector, which is vitally important to my business and of course important to the city, is one of the factors, and of course the opening of air links between Dunedin and Queenstown and Nelson has got to be another positive step going forward.
And what's the best thing, do you think, about being a tourism operator in Dunedin?
Yeah, I think it's the meeting people and getting paid to do that and showcase our city, and I've always been pretty passionate about Dunedin. I'm born and bred local boy, and I think it's just great to have the opportunity to showcase the city to people from all around the world and get some pretty positive responses from it.
Yes, indeed. Steve McNulty, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, it's hoped a new program will result in more students taking up local work after their studies. And our Word on the Street team asked members of the public if further restrictions should be imposed on alcohol advertising.
Do you want support for your breathing? You are not alone. In New Zealand, over 600,000 people have some form of breathing difficulty, especially with the high pollen season in New Zealand. Puff Plus is an excellent natural product developed to support lung function and breathing difficulties. Puff Plus is so effective, you get a no questions asked money-back guarantee on the first purchase. Give it a go, you have nothing to lose. Call now, 0800 502 402. Take as directed. If symptoms persist, see your healthcare professional.
Big Orange, for all your movies, records, books and games. Pre-loved needs and vinyl records, 45s, DVDs. A South Dunedin family-owned business for over 15 years. Check us out on Facebook, opposite Westpac on the sunny side of King Edward Street.
128 tracks, dynamic automation, dual faders, and totally digital. This is state-of-the-art music production. The SSL Digital Console. You'll find one in the BBC studios in London, another at CBS studios in New York, and now one at the University of Otago. It's a good reason why our sound now sounds even better. My name is Maddie Parkins Craig, and this is my place in the world.
Take your place in the world.
Quality Tailors, the alterations specialists, adjusting alterations made to measure. Quality Tailors, fitting Dunedin for over 15 years. Call 477 8028 162 Princess Street, one shop down from Darling Street.
Moving around the corner, overseas, Best Removals Otago Limited, specialists in household removals and business relocations, as well as packing materials, secure storage. Best Removals can do it all. 0800 266 834.
Sweet dreams. Sweet dreams.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. For more information, visit our website spcaotago.org.nz and give one of our adult animals a second chance at life.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Welcome back. International students are getting a helping hand to transition from study to work. An initiative led by the City Council is linking students with employers to keep skilled people in Dunedin. And it's being heralded as a win-win for all involved.
A new scheme's being implemented to keep international students in the city beyond their studies. The Work Ready program is part of Enterprise Dunedin's ongoing economic development strategy. An export education coordinator, Sarah Gauthier, says it should create pathways for international students to move into employment.
This is all about how we grow, uplift and enable Dunedin's international education sector. And of course the most important part of that is students. How do we attract and retain qualified international students in the city, bundling up from secondary school into tertiary, from tertiary into the workplace.
Gauthier sees the Work Ready program as an opportunity for local employers to use qualified international students in their businesses. And she says it could allow companies to gain some insight into international markets and possible expansion.
I think they get diversity, I think they get a chance to connect with internationalized talent, and I think they can better understand what markets they want to go into and how these students might be able to help them as well. We all know that net migration to New Zealand is growing. International students are kind of part of that global brain train that Dunedin and New Zealand can better latch onto.
And she says it's not just businesses that benefit, with the students gaining international working skills within a safe New Zealand context. Program Coordinator Madison Stumbles is committed to showcasing the talent on campus and to see students stay in Dunedin after graduation.
It's about making businesses aware of this talent that is right on their doorstep here at Otago, and I think sometimes there's a lot of noise and also big institutions that think people do slip through the cracks. So it's about just opening up a platform there to present some extraordinarily amazing international talent to businesses in Otago.
Interested international students will undertake this 6-week program ahead of a networking event later this year, allowing them to connect with the city's employers and potentially secure a job. Ruby McAndrew, 39 Dunedin News.
An expert panel involving local academics wants alcohol advertising and sponsorship phased out. Research shows that kind of promotion works to increase alcohol consumption as well as associated disorder and health problems. So our Word on the Street team asked members of the public if alcohol advertising and sponsorship should be further restricted.
I don't have a problem with the advertising of alcohol. I'm pretty good with sponsorship like Heineken and that sort of thing. They do good things for rugby and yeah, they're sponsoring the World Cup. I'm all good with it.
Well, what does alcohol do to you? Makes you drunk, violent?
Definitely, yeah. There's a lot of crime, a lot of harm caused through it. A lot of people getting sick and hurting each other, people dying. Bloody oath.
Well, I don't think alcohol should be advertised. I mean, it's so much, to me there's a lot of deaths surrounded around alcohol, and if it wasn't so much for the alcohol, there'd probably still be a lot more people alive.
Yes, I do, and because I think alcohol is a terrible drug. I think it does terrible things to our society.
Well, I'm not so sure about alcohol sponsoring because I don't see much of it as I used to, but I certainly think that New Zealand in general has a huge alcohol problem, and it's far too readily available and far too socially acceptable, and it causes far more expense and problems in New Zealand than I think any other drug does.
No, I don't think that it's over the top what's being advertised, and I think it's more about people being responsible, and it's people choose to drink and how much they choose to drink. So.
Well, I can't really speak for everyone else, but myself, I think there always should have been real tight restrictions on alcohol. I mean, breath testing and stuff can only do so much.
Oh, actually, I think that alcohol is like cigarettes and all. It's something you can give. It's an advertising. It's something you give to someone. What they do with it is their problem, is their opinion.
Yeah, I think that they should definitely have more restriction on it, especially when it can lead to alcohol poisoning and things like that.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. Police are investigating whether alcohol was a factor in this morning's fatal crash in which a car with 6 occupants collided with a ute. A unique pool facility is allowing local teenagers with disabilities to improve their rowing as part of a wider sports program. And almost 200 residents are making their opinions known on a proposal to change the makeup of local government. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Bruce Cree.
Good evening, Holly. King's High School has been given an ultimatum by the Ministry of Education to either toe the line over its enrolment policy or else have a limited statutory manager installed. Also, we will have more details about that fatal crash which you just reported on, of the 18-year-old woman who was killed in the central Dunedin crash. A quarry operator has been accused by the Dunedin City Council of flouting rules on Otago Peninsula. Baby Times is out in tomorrow's paper, so it's your chance to vote for Otago's cutest baby. And celebrity chef Josh Emmett has confirmed plans to open a restaurant in central Dunedin. Plus in sport and motor racing, Dunedin 19-year-old teenager Alyssa Clapperton has been chosen to drive for Team Kiwi Racing in the New Zealand V8 Car Touring Championships.
Great, thanks very much, Bruce. And time now for a look at local weather.
Weather Update is proudly brought to you in association with Silverhorns Puff Plus.
So, starting with today's city view, taken of a wood pigeon feasting on fruit in local trees. Around the city today, the central city recorded 8 degrees, 7 at the Gardens and 8 degrees out on the Tyree. Looking at the situation, and a trough of low pressure will move over the country today, followed by a period of cooler southwest airflow. To the forecast for the main towns in the lower South Island for tomorrow. Invercargill, moderate westerlies, some cloud, 11 degrees. Gore and Te Anau, moderate westerlies, fine and 11 degrees. Alexandra, fine with light winds and 12. Queenstown, fine, 10 degrees. Oamaru, fine and 11. Wanaka and Twizel, fine, light winds and 12 degrees. Here in Dunedin tonight, cold with frosts in sheltered areas and a low of 2. Tomorrow, fine and sunny, a high of 11 and a low of 3. And on Friday, nor'westers increasing to become gusty later on, a high of 14 and a low of 6. And finally to the Southern Clams tidal and fishing information. Low tide tomorrow morning is at 9:09am and high tide follows at 2:46pm. Fishing conditions tomorrow are good and best at 11:18am. And that's all from the 39 Dunedin News team for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
Welcome to Southern Attractions. Over the next half hour, we'll take you on a virtual tour of the historic city of Dunedin and its magnificent wild landscapes. We'll introduce you to many of the features that make this place so welcoming to visitors. And we hope this show will help you decide how to enjoy our city's many attractions and inform you more about Dunedin and Otago. At 46 degrees south, about halfway between the equator and the South Pole, sits Dunedin, also known as the Edinburgh of the South, or colloquially as Dunners, and the Maori name is Ōtepoti. It's the second largest city in the South Island of New Zealand and the principal city of the Otago region. It's considered to be one of the 4 main urban centres of New Zealand for historic, cultural and geographic reasons. The Dunedin urban area lies on the